Cameron, who works at an ice cream shop, has girl problems and likes his new, pretty neighbor. He dreams they fall in love, but wakes up sad. It was just a dream. Later, his dad says they must discuss his future after summer. His mom reminds them summer just began, but his dad says Cameron already took a year off. Cameron's dad gives him 3 weeks to plan his future. At work, he's late, and his manager Lenny scolds him. When asked to close the shop, Cameron refuses. He has a date with Diane. Lenny doesn't believe him. Later, a strange woman appears near Cameron's house. At work, Liz is annoyed she has to close instead. Liz asks if Cameron really has a date with Diane. He says they're old friends and she texted him first after coming back from college. After work, he sees Diane in her yard wearing a bikini. Chad and Jason show up, accuse him of taking photos, and throw his phone. Diane hears the noise. Chad says Cameron was spying, but Cameron says he can prove he wasn't. Cameron tries to get his phone, but a car crushes it. Diane tells the bullies to leave, and Cameron goes home. That night, he sees the strange woman undressing next door, and she catches him watching. At dinner, his dad says he won't buy a new phone and tells him to stand up to bullies. Then, the doorbell rings and Cameron rushes to answer. Cameron sees the neighbor woman, Victoria, at the door and worries she'll tell his parents. But when he opens it, it's just Diane. They go out for pizza, and she says sorry about his broken phone. Cameron invites his friend Martin to join them, but Martin gets nervous seeing Diane and leaves quickly. Cameron is confused by Diane's reaction. Later, she tells him Martin ditched her at prom, and she still doesn't know why. Cameron cheers her up, saying he would have never done that. She remembers a night they drank at her house, and she wanted to share a secret, but he fell asleep. Suddenly, Cameron sees Victoria staring at him and quickly runs inside. In his room, Cameron sees Victoria staring at him. She surprises him by appearing behind him. He apologizes for watching her undress and says he usually sees their neighbor Miss Carpenter instead. Victoria says she's house-sitting. When he opens the door, she says he must drive her as punishment for peeping. Cameron says he can't because he hasn't paid the car insurance. She warns she'll tell his parents if he doesn't. Cameron nervously drives Victoria to an office building. She takes his car keys so he can't leave. From the car, he sees a man open the door for her. After waiting, Cameron checks outside. The man limps to him, asking for help. Scared, Cameron runs back and locks the car. The man leaves bloody handprints while begging. Cameron is shocked when Victoria bites the man's neck and kills him. On the way back, he realizes she's a vampire. She warns she'll kill him if he won't drive her. At his house, she kisses him and says he must trust her. Next day, Hunter asks about the blood. Victoria arrives and says a hurt deer hit the car last night. She offers to pay Cameron's car insurance if Hunter lets Cameron drive her while she's in town. Cameron makes many excuses, but Hunter is okay with Cameron driving Victoria, making her happy. Martin says he stood Diane up at prom because he didn't know how to act and asks Cameron to help him get another chance. That night, Cameron waits in the car while Victoria goes into a building. Suddenly, a dead body falls by the car, scaring Cameron. Victoria comes back, licking blood from her fingers. Before going home, Cameron cleans blood from the car window at a gas station. Later, Victoria appears in his bed and says she will explain why she's here. She is 247 years old. In 1890, a rival vampire pack killed her lover for not joining them. Most of that pack moved to America, some live nearby, and she wants to kill them all. Cameron feels better when he learns Victoria's kills weren't human and says she should have told him. Next day, Martin asks Cameron to join his date with Diane because he's nervous. Lenny is shocked to see Cameron with Diane. That night, Cameron asks Victoria how many vampires she must kill. She says one tonight and one she hasn't found yet, the one who killed her lover and led the pack. She wants to make him suffer. Cameron ignores Victoria and follows her inside. In the basement, the target shoots at Cameron, who pretends to be hurt. Victoria quickly kills the target by biting his neck. She scolds Cameron for risking his life. Before leaving, Cameron asks her to visit Martin and Diane's date so he can leave early. She agrees. The next day, Liz invites Cameron to a band show, but he says no. On the date, Cameron talks about Martin trying out for a baseball team. When he tries to leave, both friends ask him to stay because he's fixing the awkward mood. Diane goes to the bathroom, and Victoria comes to pick Cameron up. Outside, Victoria asks about Diane, and Cameron says he's loved her since freshman year. Victoria asks who Martin is. Cameron says Martin loves Diane too, and he's helping with their date. Victoria doesn't get it, but Cameron says Diane will see Martin is boring. That night, Cameron spots bullies Chad and Jason outside work. Victoria pretends to be his girlfriend and insults them. Chad fights Cameron and hits him hard. Victoria tells Cameron to hit the bully's ribs, and he does. Chad falls, and they agree the bullies will leave Cameron alone now. In the car, Cameron says he hurt his wrist. Victoria gives him a vial from her necklace to drink. She says it's her blood and will heal him fast. Cameron worries he'll become a vampire, but she says no. That night, Cameron thinks about Diane. Victoria appears and says her blood boosts male strength. She suggests they sleep together to make Diane jealous. They kiss, but Hunter walks in and leaves. Cameron stops Victoria, saying he won't betray Diane. He hopes he still has a chance with her, but Victoria thinks he's naive. Next day, his dad smiles knowingly at him at the table. Martin says the date failed when Cameron left and asks for help. Cameron says maybe they aren't meant to be. Victoria visits Diane at her store. Cameron talks to Liz about his messy love life and decides to go to the band show after all. That night, Hunter gives Cameron condoms after hearing about his many adventures. As Cameron gets ready to meet Liz, he sees Diane's car at Victoria's house. He looks through the window and sees Diane with Victoria. When Victoria goes upstairs, Cameron runs home. Liz waits at the concert, wondering where he is. Cameron watches from his window and sees them kiss. Then, Victoria closes the curtains and turns off the light. Cameron knows they are about to make love. Next day, Cameron sees Diane leaving Victoria's house, showing she stayed there. After Diane leaves, Victoria asks if he liked the show. He's angry she involved Diane. Victoria says he and Diane will never work. When he says he won't work for her, she grabs him and says he has to spend one more night with her. Later, Cameron tells Martin he will help him have a successful date with Diane. Cameron quits his job at the ice cream shop. Outside, Liz hits him for missing the concert. At Diane's store, she says Martin asked her out again. Carol gives Cameron a new phone but tells him to hide it from his dad. Cameron tells Martin to use an earpiece on the date so he can guide him. If Diane asks, Martin should say he's waiting for a call from the baseball team. During the date, Cameron guides Martin's words. The date goes well, and Diane gives Martin her car keys to go anywhere. Cameron tells Martin to take Diane home, but Martin wants to go to Lover's Lane. Cameron follows them and hides behind a tree. He sees Diane talk into the earpiece and throw it away. She knew Cameron was listening. Then, Diane bites Martin's neck, showing she is a vampire. Cameron goes to the ice cream shop, but Liz isn't there. Diane shows up, and he tells her to stay away because she hurt Martin. She says Martin is alive and stronger now to help him play baseball. Cameron feels betrayed she kept secrets. Diane says she tried to tell him in high school, but he was asleep. She stayed quiet for 2 years because she was afraid of his reaction. Diane admits she loves Cameron but won't act on it because she's a vampire and it can't work. They kiss while Lenny watches nearby. Later, Victoria tells Cameron she didn't know Diane was a vampire until recently. She kept it secret because Cameron wouldn't believe her. Victoria says Diane is the vampire she's hunting, and Cameron will be used as bait. Diane comes to help Cameron. Lenny tries to expose her, but she stops him and drinks his blood. Then Diane and Martin find Victoria holding Cameron. Diane fights Victoria, blocking her attack and knocking her down. Diane makes Victoria listen to the story from 100 years ago. She says their leader was cruel and she wanted to leave. She met Victoria's lover, who gave her his blood for safety. But the cruel leader found out and killed him. Victoria says sorry and is happy to find a living pack member. They kiss and talk about rebuilding a family. Cameron says he enjoyed fighting vampires with Victoria. He asks Diane why she must go, and she says it's time to move on. She knows he wants her to stay, but he has a full life ahead. After a last kiss, Lenny, now a vampire, asks Cameron to tell Liz she's the new assistant manager. Then he joins Victoria and Martin as they drive away. Next day, Cameron tells his parents he wants to be a writer about vampires. Outside the ice cream shop, he apologizes to Liz and tries to explain the last 3 weeks. She doesn't fully believe him but forgives him and lets him in.